There's been a lot of talk lately about mental health, and there seems to be a really troubling mentality where people think that mental health is some kind of modern issue. But Charles Dickens suffered from mental health problems throughout his life. And in fact, in the 1850s, he wrote an article called Night Walks, in which he described the effects of someone who effectively is having a mental breakdown. And I'd like to share a little piece of his writing with you today. Dickens, of course, would not have had the modern language that we have to describe mental health conditions. He wouldn't have used the phrase mental health. But he certainly recognised the symptoms. And Dickens, in this article, called it dry rot in a man. A very curious disease, the dry rot in men, and difficult to detect the beginning of. It had carried Horace Kinch inside the wall of the old King's Bench prison, and it had carried him out with his feet foremost. In other words, he's dead. He was a likely man to look at in the prime of his life, well-to-do, as clever as he needed to be, and popular among many friends. He was suitably married, and had healthy and pretty children. But, like some fair-looking houses, or fair-looking ships, he took the dry rot. The first strong external revelation of the dry rot in men is a tendency to lurk and lounge, to be at street corners without intelligible reason, to be going anywhere when met, to be about many places rather than at any, and to do nothing tangible, but to have an intention of performing a variety of intangible duties tomorrow or the day after. When this manifestation of the disease is observed, the observer will usually connect it with a vague impression, once formed or received, that the patient was living a little too hard. He will scarcely have had leisure to turn it over in his mind and form the terrible suspicion of dry rot, when he will notice a change, for the worse, in the patient's appearance. A certain slovenliness and deterioration, which is not poverty, nor dirt, nor intoxication, nor ill health, but simply dry rot. To this succeeds a smell of strong waters in the morning, to that a looseness respecting money, to that a stronger smell as of strong waters, at all times. To that, a looseness respecting everything. To that, a trembling of the limbs, solemnity, misery, and crumbling to pieces. As it is in wood, so it is in men. Dry rot advances at a compound usury quite incalculable. A plank is found infected with it, and the whole structure is devoted. Thus it had been with the unhappy Horace Kinch, lately buried by a small subscription.